Yes. We're back in Amsterdam from the trip to Canada, as you might know. Thanks for joining this video on demand. Of course, I'll be recording some videos in this stream that you will then also see later on JorRaptor React on the channel. I think we are live. I'm looking at the chat right now, but I see everyone here, which is great. Good to see you, as always. Doven Smeets, Evil, Makkerman, Dog Hamster. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome week this week. We are preparing a ton of Assassin's Creed Shadows content for if you somehow missed it. I was able to play the game at Ubisoft Quebec last week and got home on Sunday morning and have been kind of resting, of course, and working on a lot of content. Joyce and Dennis are helping a lot. So, Steven Martin says, bro, you're from the Netherlands. Yes, I am. Hey, the Hidden Creed, good to see you. And I'm going to announce something fun this stream that you will probably be excited about if you are looking forward to Assassin's Creed Shadows. So that's going to be exciting. And we have some other like non-Assassin's Creed topics to go over as well. There's one Assassin's Creed topic kind of looking beyond Shadows, which I think will be interesting to discuss, but also some Sony things. Like, I have not really shared my take on the whole God of War game cancellation stuff. So looking forward to doing that as well. Let's see, I had like a fun Reddit. I think it's just this then. Yeah. That's a great thread. But there was also like. So yeah, is it March yet? No. And I cannot, of course, say anything about the game specifically here, but I will kind of go over my trip to Quebec during this stream. So I got some pictures and stuff. That's gonna be fun. Where Winds Meet? Yeah, Where Winds Meet. Oh, you guys remember that from from last time. That is like kind of a topic that I want to do when I'm kind of struggling to find topics. We can still look at it. I did prepare some videos in last week's for last week's stream. I think it will be like fun to go over that, but I do think we won't have time today. Got the delivery man pre-stream this time. True. Usually, but to be fair though, the Assassin's Creed stream is 2 hours before this one. So the delivery man is usually around 4 here. But I'm not expecting anything, so I will just be sitting here during this whole stream. But I'm glad the live service games are cancelled. If they flopped, it would affect the overall value of that piece totally. And that's probably the main reason why something like a Last of Us Online that was very far in development got cancelled. But we will talk more about it very soon. Red Hood Phantom, good to see you as always. Rumo Tenolo, you are more than... Do you support Ajax since you're from the Amsterdam? I say it's like we pronounce it as Ajax. I think in other countries we would like Ajax. Not what it is. Do I support them? They are my favorite club, but to be fair, I don't watch a lot of football. When I do though, I'm watching La Liga, so like the Spanish Cup. Because I am kind of a fan of Barcelona, I do have some merch from them. Like I really love during the European Cup. I really liked watching Spain and like Lamine Yamal, and he's like my new favorite football player. So when I can, I watched like Real Madrid yesterday. So I'm kind of like keeping track of those two clubs when I can. It's something. Yeah, like the Dutch Cup, they're not that great. If I want to watch, I want to watch like the best. And I know I should then probably maybe spend some time on the English Cup as well. But can't wait for your Shadows preview. Well, Ahmed, it's coming this Thursday, and there's more. There is something else, and I'm super excited about that. I will tell you about it like in a second. But I want to kind of look at one thing that I still want to see for the video that I want to do. Like the topic I want to discuss here. I had like a Reddit post I think earlier today. But I think it was not here. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. Barca fan myself. Very good. Very good. Do you think Bluepoint may put on a Bloodborne remake for the PS6 launch? I mean, it's wild to me that they weren't doing something like that. That's kind of my thing. There was this. Yeah, I think I got it. Yes, okay. Let's just add this to it. And there's a state of play going to happen in February. We're gonna like react, or I'm gonna make some predictions and stuff for that as well. So that's gonna be fun. But let's talk about the trip to Quebec first. Let me see. I don't want to. I have like way too many windows open. But yeah, it should be. I should like have this. Okay. Yeah. Trust me, I did prepare, but the final thing I still need to do. I hope we get a story trailer for Shadows. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Damn, JorRaptor lore. Did you meet up with Frankie Boy? Oh yes, I met Frankie Boy. That was really, really cool. I'm not sure if we made a picture, if you took a picture together. But I like see Frankie Boy. I mean, I see him every week, of course, during the stream. But of course, it's only like 2 times per year. It of course like kind of depends on if I go to Gamescom. He's of course there too. He's of course from Germany. But yeah, he was there as well, Frankie Boy. And yeah, spent a lot of time with him. He was also playing the game, doing a lot of interviews. So really, next week's Assassin's Creed show is gonna be amazing, because we will both be back, having played the game, can talk about it, and we both have like a lot of info. So starting next week on Wednesday on the Assassin Raptor channel, we will have like the weekly Assassin's Creed show till launch and beyond, of course, with like, there will not be moments where it's like, what are we going to talk about now? And then we're going to zoom in on the strategy guide or something and looking for some details. No, we will, starting next week, have it done. I say starting next week because this week would be weird, right? We always do the show on Wednesday and we cannot talk about anything yet. Only on Thursday, on the January 23rd. So, did not make sense to sadly do the show this week. And we're both not at home this week. And I will tell you why. Let's do that right now. So, yeah, as you might know, I played Assassin's Creed Shadows early. Ubisoft invited me to go to Ubisoft Quebec, the lead studio, of course, on the game. And yeah, as you can see, we had a cool setup here. I was like, you could play with an Xbox or PlayStation controller, and yeah, you got the whole setup going on right here. You can also do keyboard and mouse if you're like a madman. I think Frankie Boy actually uses keyboard and mouse, which, I mean, that's crazy. We had like a cool setup here. We could record, and yeah, this was before playing, by the way. Good to note. And what's also really cool is that they So this is like one of the, let's see. This is like one of the helmets they have. Odyssey helmet. They got some like Assassin's Creed Red stuff going on here. Of course Shadows, but looking at this I just think of Red and not really of Shadows. They got like really cool elevators. Like the Naue elevator. And they had like one for Yasuke, of course, as well. We got Alexios, the big statue. And like outdoor, you have like this. This is not like the entrance, but yeah. It looked pretty cool. Looked really cool. I was, of course, I had the pose next to the statue. Where do I have that picture? Yeah, that's this one. To really show you, hey, I was there. Look at this. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's big. It's big. I love this as well, seeing this. So they basically have, like, every time they finish a project, they have like this. Yeah, where they put all the names from everyone working on it. And look at this, like the amount of people that worked on that crossover story content. That, of course, again, launched 1 year after Valhalla. Cassandra, of course, meeting Eivor. And yeah, in Odyssey, we had like 3 hours of new content as well. I mean, roughly, it's like 80 signatures or something, 100? To show you like how many people work on, yeah, brand new free content. That's pretty sick. So yeah, every time they finish it, like Immortals had one of these as well. Yeah, Odyssey, of course, Syndicate. Even like For Honor 2, they had like a sizable team work on that as well. And also they had this. Like a life-sized, yeah, Yasuke sword, basically. Which is really, really awesome. And it's made by the Men at Arms or something, are they called? Men at Arms? Is that like what they are called? Like a YouTube channel, I think. Yeah, they forge like things. Yeah, I think it's Men at Arms. So they forge these weapons that like I don't think you can kill anyone with it. I do think it's a kind of blunt, but it looks really cool. But even cooler, I think. So this is like, I do think it's a bit larger than what it is in the game. But it was to kind of like show you how big Yasuke's sword is. Well, if you see him like use that weapon, it's of course not the same size. Or it looks not like this, even though it is still enormous. So that was like kind of cool. Let's see. But we also have the Kusarigama. And like holding this chain, it was like pretty heavy. It's like also super long. But Naue, of course, makes it look like it's easy. But yeah, that was pretty cool to be able to hold this as well. Was it heavy? Like this? Yeah, both weapons were pretty heavy. And I'm like seeing Naue like kind of use it like very freely. You think, okay, it's not that heavy, but the chain in particular in this case is heavy. And they told me as well that they sometimes have the chain next to the sort of like pointy thing from the sickle. This was like very sharp, but so you can like hold 2 sickles with the chains, because yeah, you basically can hold 2 of them at the handle and then have the chain around the sort of pointy part. And then, I mean, that's gonna be insanely heavy. But this weapon needs a lot. You need a lot of like skill and practice to make this one work. So this is kind of my trip to Ubisoft Quebec again. This is all fun and well, but of course I came to play the game, and I did. And the cool part is that this week I will be going to Paris to Ubisoft, and I can also play the game again and show it to you. So I will be streaming the game as one of the only people in the world live for, I'm not sure if I can say for how long, but it will be multiple hours. And yeah, it's on Thursday, so January 23rd, 6 p.m. Central European time. So basically, this time an hour later. And yeah, in 3 days from now, I will have a countdown on the main channel as well. It will be on the main channel. And yeah, that's gonna be insane. Like, I've never, and I don't think Ubisoft has ever, maybe for Rainbow Six stuff, but I don't think for like any other of their games, have done like a pre-launch Assassin's Creed, like a pre-launch streaming event for 2 months in advance. Like, this was already planned with the previous release date, so then it was obviously only 4 weeks or 3 weeks. But now that it's coming out in March, it's even crazier to already be able to play or show you the game live. And there might be some like other people, some developers maybe that can join, so we can like talk with them. Maybe they can show us some awesome things. But that is insane. And it also, of course, kind of shows you that they are pretty confident. Usually when you play these previews, there are, because it's also like a few months before launch, they are, yeah, usually in a really work in progress state. So you, of course, play the game and you have to edit things out and stuff. But here, they're like, yo, you can like show this game for multiple hours uncut. So if something happens in the game, like, of course, I'm gonna stress a million of times, like, it's a work in progress build. But still, like, they think it's good enough to be shown to the world like it is. Yeah, it shows confidence, Bash Video Editor, I agree. I'll be watching, says Peps Gaming. That's awesome. And yeah, I will be live on YouTube and Twitch. So, but that in particular is insane, and I just can't wait to yeah, play the game again. Like, that's already exciting, but then I also show it to you. So I think it will be the same as what I played, so I already can kind of know what will be cool to show you. And I already got some practice in, so I'm happy about that. If I would be going in like I was last week, it would not be the same, obviously. But yeah, that's super, super exciting. So I will do like a separate video, kind of going and talking about it as well. And yeah, just like an announcement so people can put it on their radar. I will have like a countdown stream up. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I hope to see you guys all there. And Skata, see you there too. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. And yeah, we will. We have like Dennis watching. Brock will be watching. So as like moderators. January 23rd, Holo Gaming. Are you allowed to tell us how long you played in Canada? No, not yet. I can only say that I've played it and kind of show you the pictures. Do you know how many other people are getting to stream it? Yes, it's really not a lot. So it's only in Paris, the event. And there are some people like from Europe coming there as well. But I think I might be, if I'm not mistaken, the only English content creator like that it makes like English content that is streaming the game, at least on YouTube. There might be like a few on Twitch, like variety streamers, but I think I'm the only English content creator on YouTube that's gonna stream it, and that's like kind of awesome. That's insane. Raviti is streaming, I know. Yeah. Raviti, of course, Spanish YouTuber, will be streaming. Fragnart, Frankie Boy, will also be streaming. So he will be doing it in German, of course, for his main audience. And yeah. That's pretty wild. So I'm really blessed that they invited me for that. Have you met Eve? No. I never met him, no. Milan is asking, can you tell if you are, can you just tell if you are overall positive or negative with what you played so far? No, I cannot. I really like, obviously, if I would say that stuff, that is not allowed. So I also signed an NDA, like, January 23rd. So 3 days from now, I'll be able to tell everything. So you have to wait a little bit longer. Very happy to hear Ubisoft wants to market this well with live gameplay ahead of release. Yeah, I don't think they've ever done that. Maybe like, I think they did like a Ubisoft stream for Origins before launch with like the developers, but not like this. Not that they are just giving me the controller and letting me do a regular stream as I normally would, but with shadows. 53 Nights says, how cold was Canada? Too cold. But I'm back in the Netherlands and it's still cold here. But I dodged like a bullet. It was gonna be like minus 30 degrees in Canada. Like I think today or tomorrow. So I'm happy that I'm not there when that's a thing. I do not speak Dutch broccoli. Well, you don't have to if you... Do other games even do that? I mean, it has been... Sometimes games do it, I think. I think sometimes at like Gamescom you can like stream games, but not for the games that I covered. I think like Call of Duty does it, right? For the Black Ops 6 multiplayer reveal, they invite everyone. So will you stream the exact second it hits 5 p.m. GMT? Yeah, I will stream the day that the embargo goes live. So basically when everyone is allowed to share their videos, I'll be live. What time the USA are you talking about on the 23rd? I want to make an alarm. Yes. Except there will be a countdown timer, so I will make sure that that's ready, and then you can just look at it. I will like probably make that after the stream. And then, but it is gonna be this time, right now, that when you're watching right now, but then 40 minutes from now. So, yeah, basically in 3 days... 40 minutes, plus 40 minutes. Yeah, 6 p.m. Central European time. That would be 9 a.m. Yeah, that would be 9 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. And, yeah, 12 a.m. on the East Coast. Ubisoft seems pretty confident this time. So excited for the floodgates to finally open on the 23rd. Me too. Hey, Omega Infinity. It's like around minus 16 now and I'm in Quebec. Well, yeah, you maybe remember that like on Saturday it was like minus 1. And then we like looked at the overall, the predictions for like the coming days and it was gonna be insane. Minus 10 Fahrenheit, I think. I'm not sure about the Fahrenheit to degrees calculations. But thanks, Guyver, for the donation, and what you said is true. Very exciting. First time in Paris? No, Lion Bird. I've been in Paris like a couple of times, but mostly for gaming events. And then I need to give it like a proper shot with like a few days. I want to do that at one point. Because I hear from some people that it's actually really cool if you go to the right spots. But I've only been for events and then you go to... to the train station, and the area around that is just not great. But yeah, again, yeah. Are you allowed to tell us anything from the gameplay you did? Elliot Ski? No, sadly not. I like the Panic at the Disco poster. Me too. I had, of course, a long travel to Canada from the Netherlands, like 9 hours, 10 hours, and then also from Toronto to Quebec. So I was like on the plane for like 14 hours, and I listened to that album back to, like from the first song to the last one on the plane. That was good. I always like to do that. If I've not listened to it for like a long time, it's always nice. Show us Shadows gameplay. I can't. GCGGG. Can you talk about how the game ran? No, so okay, I cannot say anything else. So we're gonna move on to other topics because no, I cannot say anything else. All I can say, January 23rd, we will be posting a ton of content on the main channel and on the TikToks and all that sort of stuff because it's not banned anymore. What a joke. On the JorRaptor, and I will also be live streaming the game. That's all I can say right now. And that's where I will have to keep talking, otherwise the stream will be very boring. But let's now move on to some other topics that happened over the weekend and while I was in Canada. Dennis, of course, did a great job with the Sunday video. Joyce did the edit. And yeah, he already gave his thoughts. But now I want to share my thoughts on the situation. So again, we will grab this Shadows topic, throw it away. There will be a lot to talk about starting Thursday. Again, there will be a cool live stream then as well. I will still be like this, grabbing the Assassin's Creed topic and bringing it back later on in the stream. But yeah, nothing regarding the I played Shadows. We kind of talked about that already, and all I can say, because I know you're curious, I would be curious too. But trust me, if I say anything, then I will never be able to tell you anything ever again. There might be like shinobis in my house right now. I don't hear them, and that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the point, of course, of these shinobis. But yeah, maybe the stream will be cut off like instantly when I say something. Okay. Okay, Joyce is here. Hello, Joyce. Don Walker thoughts, Jor. Yeah, we might go over that as well, or do it a bit later. But wait, what is on January 23rd? the Shadows embargo. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Okay, we're gonna go to topic number one. Let's do it. We're gonna have to shift mindset. Let's do it. Yes, maybe you heard the news. Sony cancelled 2 big games. It's wild. I have many thoughts, so let's start at the beginning. Jason Schreier on Blue Sky was like, PlayStation has cancelled 2 more live service games from Bend and Bluepoint, Bloomberg has learned. Fans have long wondered what Bluepoint was working on for the last couple of years. I can report it was a live service God of War game. Now, I've seen many people say, what, live service God of War game? What the heck? How would that even work? If you watched the main channel, JorRaptor, of course, for a long time, then maybe you saw a video where I predicted this exact thing. We will listen to that in a moment, but first, I want to go over this Bloomberg article and kind of go over the deets, and there are some other interesting wrinkles that are kind of new, so we got like updates on it ever since it happened, so maybe you don't know about them yet. Let's see what Bloomberg says here. So basically, a company spokesperson confirmed the cancellations. In a statement, the spokesperson said the 2 games were cancelled following a recent review, and that PlayStation will continue making both online and single-player games. Okay, no surprise there. But yeah, seemingly, of course, every time in development, there are like these milestones that the developers are working towards to. And then around that time, Herman Hulst, of course, the CEO now of the PlayStation Games and other initiatives, comes in with some other, probably, people. And look at what the progress is and what they still need to do. And if the game is fun, if it's coming together. And seemingly, for these 2 games, that was not the case. And we have even Jeff Grubb saying he was told that the latest cancellations of the live service games is because of Concord. This happened because of Concord, like this should be clear. That's what I've been told. Sony has been shell-shocked from Concord, and now they're going around to every studio and they're reassessing every single project. And if it's a live service project, it has a lot of friction going against it, preventing it from giving it a chance to actually come out. Going back to Bloomberg, neither studio will be shuttered. Bend and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family, and we're working closely with each studio to determine what are the next projects. Will they, though? We will talk about that in a second. So yeah, over the last few years, basically this is what Jason is saying. Like, one This strategy has led to one hit, Helldivers 2, and several flops, including Concord, which was removed from sale less than 2 weeks after it was released. I think it was like 12 days, which of course, still crazy. Now, this is like an kind of sad part about this story. Basically, it turned out that Bluepoint and band staff learned their live service PS5 games were cancelled at the same time as everyone else. So imagine working on this game for many years. It's kind of your life's, like your life at work revolves around this. But we know these people are very, very enthusiastic, passionate about their work. So they likely take that at home. They think about it. Oh, we're going to do this. It's going to be exciting. And they're trying to make the best possible thing. And then you read on freaking Twitter or any other platform that your game is cancelled without even knowing it yourself. Crazy. The development teams working on Sony's 2 most recent cancelled games weren't aware of the news in advance. I looked into this a bit, Grubb explained. Yeah, all of this is true. The 2 studios found out at the same time as everyone else, so people will be going into work wondering, hey, okay, what are we doing next? And what they're going to have to do next, very likely, is to pitch something to Sony, and the landscape of that has changed pretty drastically. Grubb suggested that both studios will have a harder time proposing new ideas to Sony because its closure of numerous live service games means that it's currently unclear what the types of new games is that Sony is looking to greenlight. He explained, a couple of years ago, you would bring to PlayStation your pitch, that is, a live service game. We know you want to hear that, and we can use the God of War IP. We know you want to hear that. And then they get the green light, they get the budget, they get the funding, they can grow their studio, hire more people, the people working there are safe. And now, they have to go back to the drawing board and come up with the pitch that PlayStation wants to hear, when no one really knows what they want to hear, so it's a rough situation. So, many thoughts from this. One of the thoughts was, when of course, you read the sort of stuff that is going on, you read, okay, 2 games are cancelled, without really, that's the first thing you read, right? And I thought, okay, this has to be Fair Games, right? That was really my first thought. Okay, so Fair Games is cancelled, we all saw that coming, but no. This game that looks like, AI make a live server, it's not exciting at all. And it kind of pains me to say this because this is by, really veteran Assassin's Creed Ubisoft people at Ubisoft Montreal that, went with Jade Raymond, who, of course, has a Ubisoft history as well. She was, at the forefront of creating Assassin's Creed as a franchise. And she's been having a hard time getting another game off the ground. But yeah, she brought a lot of people from Ubisoft to Haven Studios. And I was when I heard that, I was excited. One of the art directors, I think, or concept artist, he has done a lot of amazing concept art for all the Assassin's Creed games. They look insane. So I was let's go. I can't wait to see their games. And then it's Monkey Mask. It's this. It's a PvEVP heist. You are a team. There are other people that are also a team. You go steal from the rich, but at the same time fight each other. There might be AI enemies that we have to kill. This is too late. Maybe it's great. Maybe because it's not cancelled, it actually is better than we think. Maybe. But that's hard for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe. But yeah, somehow this game survived the recent review check. So again, maybe there's something there, because looking at the pedigree of the developers, I'm there are a lot of talented people there. So yeah. Now, let's move on to the God of War live service part of this. And then I want to go over Sony Band, of course, the team that did Days Gone. Their whole story is pretty tragic too, and might end tragically as well. But if we go over here, Jason Schreier. PlayStation fans have speculated for years about Bluepoint's new projects, since the well-received PS5 remake of Demon's Souls. Before that, they did the Shadow of Colossus remake, of course. I can report that from 2020 they were helping on God of War Ragnarok. Since then, they've been on the live service project that was cancelled today. What they now do is unclear. In 2021, I think, or even like after Demon's Souls project, were already saying we are making original content right now. So they were helping God of War Ragnarok. I totally think that while they were working on that, they were thinking about other stuff as well, likely this live service game already. So I think 2 years they have been knees deep, full focus on this game, which is like a lot. 2 years of work gone. But if you remember, if you follow the channel for a while, then you might remember this video. So in this video, I was like talking about the God of War Ragnarok thesis hint at multiple new games. Really, if you think about it right now, God of War is the biggest franchise Sony has. Because they own it, it's not the Spider-Man, they don't have to pay Marvel for it, and it's selling like crazy. God of War Ragnarok, even more successful than the first game, while something like an Horizon, first game super successful, second game still successful, but nowhere near Zero Dawn. God of War, biggest thing they got. So obviously, Sony Santa Monica is making more games. But they are focused on single player, hopefully, luckily, hopefully. But of course, they want to do more with it. And back then, I was like, I really think they're gonna do a live service God of War game. And this was, let's see, 2 years ago, December 2022. Let's do it. So I was like talking about how Truth is gonna come back. She of course has Mjolnir now. It's gonna be exciting. Like, it could totally be that she shows up as a Valkyrie in a future title, but we know Sony is very eager to release live service games, with more than 10 currently planned for before March 2026. We know. Fun fact about this, by the way, 7 of them are cancelled. 7 of the 10, and then I count Concord as well, of course released, cancelled very quickly after. So this 10 number then became 12. Most of them cancelled. We only know about the few that are still coming. I want to talk about that in a moment. We know that Horizon is getting the multiplayer treatment, with Guerrilla just confirming that a new internal team is developing a separate online project set in Horizon's universe. The Last of Us Factions multiplayer is of course getting spinned into its own standalone thing. Has been cancelled. Insomniac is hiring for a new multiplayer title and has been cancelled. Ghost of Tsushima, of course, already had their big co-op experiment with Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which I really think was like the kick-off of this initiative. And I still think that that is their best bet to make this work. That sucks to say, because I do think to make it work, that would mean that Sucker Punch is gonna be a live service studio, but really, Legends showed so much promise for we're releasing it. People loved it way more than they thought, and I think what Sony needs with this live service initiative is to convince people that only play their single player games that hey, maybe it's fun to have that gameplay and play together. Because I really think a lot of like people that usually only play single player games that loved Ghost of Tsushima tried the Legends multiplayer and were actually like, this is way better than I thought. Because I don't think, later they launched it as a standalone, but I really don't think that many people only bought Ghost of Tsushima Legends and never played the single player. I have a really hard time believing that they won't do something similar with their biggest franchise, especially after the focus on companions, making them combat ready. Like, I think Angrebola would be an awesome playable character as well, and the fact that we already had a second playable character next to Kratos. And I think a lot of people would have loved to keep playing Ragnarok if there was more to do after getting the 100%. Like, gameplay is key in a live service game, and God of War got that already nailed down. Also, when playing the different Muspelheim challenges, I just could not help but think that the special objectives they introduced, like throwing the orb in the rift or killing regular enemies before fighting the elites, Things like that just would work very, very well in a co-op game. This would then also let them use all the environments, creatures and enemies that they designed for the Norse saga, something that they will probably leave behind for the next real game that takes place in a different mythology. Again, just my speculation, curious to hear your take. As for... Well, they were doing this. 2 years ago, I predicted this. And that is what they were doing. And I'm really like kind of baffled when people say, I don't know what a God of War multiplayer would look like. Look at this. I have a really hard time believing this could be a second playable character. Easily. Something similar. You're like going through linear paths. You start, you pick a character, one of the like Norse mythology characters, like the Norse characters. They already made like abilities for them. And then you just go through levels and fight the enemies that you remember from Ragnarok. They will obviously add the enemies that they had in the Valhalla DLC. And then, boss at the end of the mission, you get cool loot, you can upgrade your character. Oh, I'm now gonna switch to a different character. Oh, people want to play the 4-player raid, let's do that and fight like a huge god, I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious what this game was. Maybe I'm wrong. But looking at Ragnarok, I think it was gonna be probably this. Not saying that this would have worked. They probably were looking at it and are like, okay, can you name another game that is like this, that is successful? Godfall? Anyone? That was not successful, but like... but I'm not saying that they had to do this, that this was smart. But I saw that this was what they were doing, and it just said to me that it's like a company like Bluepoint that has been like known for these amazing remakes that is doing this. Do they have experience with a game like this? No. Why are they needing to spend like 3 years or like 2+ years on this game? And do they have live service like experience? No. So if you want to do this, go to a, I don't know, Saber Interactive that did like Space Marine 2. I would argue that Space Marine 2 might be the closest to what this God of War game, like the multiplayer part of that, the closest to what the God of War game might be. Go to those studios, because then if you cancel it, we still have a cool remake or something else from Bluepoint to look forward to. Right now, the biggest problem to me is that they are wasting time, money, and I think like overall, like these people working at the studios, I don't think they're happy right now. They were met with a lot of enthusiastic like PlayStation CEO, like higher ups. Oh, you're gonna do a God of War live service, let's go. And then 2 years later they cancel it and tell Jason Schreier before you. Oh, that must be a great feeling. So now you have to start from scratch again, and who tells, like maybe they will, if you're gonna do a single player game, maybe at one point they're like, we don't need single player games anymore, or we got like the big ones, we don't need the other ones. Again, this is disheartening for these people, and for us as PlayStation buyers, buying into the promise of what the PS4 brought us, which was like many cool exclusives, we are losing 2 big exclusives. Because if Bluepoint is gonna make something new, it's gonna be 4 years, 5 years. So let's look at this tweet here from Kevin from Kevin here, the Viking Dad, who is the community manager over at Band. Interesting thing about him, great guy by the way, love interacting with him here and there, is that he joined the studio after Days Gone launched and has not been part of a game release, I think. Now, they might do the Days Gone remaster this year, that's highly likely, so then he will have a cool launch, but he has been with the studio, with Sony Band, since they started working on this game. Like, remember, Days Gone was 2019. They have not released a new game. They will, in April was Days Gone, in April they will have 6 years without a game, and they're now starting over. So I already thought that from Uncharted Golden Abyss to Days Gone, that was like an insane amount of time. But from Days Gone to their next game will be even longer. If they make it. Like, that is really what I'm kind of afraid of. Are they going to make it? If you are Sony, and if we just like if you are Sony and you got all these PlayStation studios, and you look at your lineup, and you're like, okay, do we need Sony Band? Because they cannot go back to. It's not a Naughty Dog that had Uncharted, Last of Us, and now they're doing Intergalactic, and Insomniac, Spider-Man, now they're doing Wolverine because they got the Sony Band. Their biggest game was Days Gone, and that was not good enough for Sony to release a sequel. In a different timeline, they could have been working on Days Gone too since the first Days Gone, and it would probably have been announced, maybe launched this year, next year. But no, they went the live service route, and they have nothing to show for it, and that means that their next game, when is that gonna be? Do you, as a Sony, want to give them $100-200 million to make a new game that might not be a success? Because when they were making a live service, you're like, maybe that one hits, and then we're golden. But now they finally have woken up to the reality that a live service game obviously is way harder. They thought Concord was gonna be a hit. Those are the people that greenlit this Sony Band game. So I agree with Jeff Grubb earlier in the video that he said it's gonna be hard for these teams. I think Bluepoint is gonna be fine because Bluepoint can, and I saw people talk about it in the chat as well, they did Demon's Souls. Give them Bloodborne. Let them remake it, add some new stuff maybe to it, and release that as like a launch game for the PS6. Because the reality is, both Bluepoint and Sony Band, they're not gonna launch anything during the PS5 lifecycle. That is what this live service initiative is kind of causing. It's removing studios from PlayStation from a complete generation. We will likely look back at the PS5 generation and be like, where were the games? Because Wolverine will come, Intergalactic will come, Ghost of Yotei will come. Are these like the big games that we still have? Maybe Sony Santa Monica has another one up their sleeves? That's not a lot. And then maybe like a Venom game from Insomniac? That's not a lot. While during the previous generation, PS4, we had way more. So it's gonna be interesting, man. While Sony has way more studios now than they had during the PS4 generation. So, but I don't know, man. Do you really? I would love it. I don't think they're gonna do Days Gone 2 because the directors that worked on that game, they've left a long time ago. Are the people that are still at Sony Band hype for it? So I think going forward with Sony Band, and I hope that they do because I love that team, especially after Days Gone. I think they did a great job supporting that post-launch. They did some awesome content. I want to see them do it again. I want to see them release another game. But what is it gonna be? And how big are the chances of that being a success? Especially with the directors that worked on that game, that had a lot of influence on Days Gone on that project, not being there. And what they worked on before was a third-person live service game that we had some leaks about, but it didn't look that interesting. So yeah, that's kind of the situation. Then we go here. And like also Bluepoint could be, I think they could be, if they want to have something out during the PS5 generation, let them make another remake. Like, I think there are many opportunities for Bluepoint, but for Sony Band, I don't know. They were working on an Uncharted game before switching to this new IP, this live service game that got cancelled. But they didn't want to make the Uncharted game because they were like, yo, we want to make our own thing. Maybe now they go back to that Uncharted game, but Sony might be working on an Uncharted game already with a Sony San Diego studio. Those are the rumors. But yeah, looking at their live service strategy, so released Helldivers 2. My thing really with Helldivers 2, because that's the thing that everyone points to, like, it was a success, the live service initiative, they got the Helldivers 2. I really think they would have launched Helldivers 2 even without this live service initiative. I think they partnered with Sony for even before their live service initiative, and Sony did not even think the game was going to be a success. Again, they thought Concord was going to be a success, which flopped big time, and they did not think Helldivers 2 would be a success, and that became one of their most popular games ever. Kind of wild. MLB The Show doesn't count, they launch that every year. Gran Turismo 7 does not count. Considered live service game. I don't think they are considered live service game by Sony. This is fake info. But I appreciate this, Amans, I appreciate this Reddit post. But Gran Turismo 7, not a live service game. They launch new cars, sure, but it's like sporadic. There's no plan. Concord, okay, so then the ones that have been shuttered. Concord, yeah. Marathon is still coming. 2025 is like probably not, but yeah, Marathon, I could see that they need that to be a big hit for Bungie. Fair Games, again, still, I'm baffled by that's still, that they looked at the Sony Bend game and the God of War live service game. Again, the God of War live service game, that's probably just too much. Like that, you could if you launch that, hurt the overall franchise that is God of War. If you obviously, if you release that in a poor state. That's probably what happened with The Last of Us Online, where they were like, we can launch it, but it might be bad, and that could hurt the HBO show and Last of Us 3 that we want to make. Horizon MMO from Guerrilla. Okay, it's not the MMO, it's the multiplayer game. They have an Horizon MMO as well, but that's a mobile game from NCSoft. So, there is already so much riding on this game, because it's the whole Guerrilla Games Horizon team working on this. They got a big office in Amsterdam. Now, obviously, they do, like, engine work now as well. A lot of, like, studios are using the amazing Guerrilla Games engine, of course. But yeah, I'm scared for this. I want this to succeed, but looking at the whole landscape of live service games, looking at Monster Hunter that is coming out, looking at the art style that got leaked, whew, it's gonna be fascinating, but also kind of scary. But I hope it's good, because it's still Guerrilla Games. They know how to make amazing games. It will play great. Will they be able to make sure that this is a successful live service game, though? That would be amazing, though, because then they are elevated to what? They're always like, yo, it's like Santa Monica and Naughty Dog have this cool friend group, and the Guerrilla Games always like knocking on the window, like, hey, can I come in, please? And they're like, yeah, maybe. Well, we're going away anyway soon, so we'll see you later. If this is a hit, then they will get their penthouse above, like, the Naughty Dog can. Because Sony will then be like, damn, we're making live service money. Santa Monica and Naughty Dog, you're making the best single-player games, but we're looking for the live service cash. It's gonna be hard, though, to get that penthouse, but... Gummy Bears is a new game from former Bungie people. It's like a Smash Brothers type thing or something. I don't know. Unknown live service games from Jane Blundell, head of Deviation. So that is the... Deviation games got, like... It's like old Call of Duty zombies people. So this could be big, too. But they had Deviation games already. That shut down. And then they made a new studio. Okay, cancelled God of War live service game. Development since 2022. I think it's earlier than that. But yeah, it's 2 years, basically, of a lot of resources wasted. Sci-fi live service game from Bend. Was like a military live service game. Either way, yeah, it's bad. But this was cancelled. Twisted Metal, cancelled. Lost was cancelled. Spider-Man, The Great Web. I think that was like very, very early. They made a presentation about it, but I don't think it was as far as all the other games I already mentioned. Unknown live service game from Deviation, but again, that might continue under a different name. Yeah, so, yeah, and of course, like the fantasy live service game from London. So, as I said, like 7 or 8 of the live service games that Sony did from the 12 they planned are cancelled. They're done. And if they were from partner studios like the Concord thing, like Concord did not ruin the possibility of a single player game coming to console. It was, we are buying this studio, we're spending all this money. If it's not working out, it does not hurt our single player game output. Having Bend, who did Days Gone, having Bluepoint, who did the Demon's Souls remake, having Naughty Dog, that after Lost Us Part 2 spent 3 years on the online game, having Guerrilla Games, that after Forbidden West is now focused on the online game, which means Horizon 3 is way later. Those things impact the live service out or the single player output, and that is what we're seeing now. And that is what mostly hurts me. If Sony wants to spend a ton of money on live service games and wants to try it, sure, do it. But don't don't involve all your studios in there, because then your hardcore fans, like us, are hurting. And that is what we are right now. Of course, not as bad as the developers who worked on this that were told, hey, this is a good idea, and then before they heard at the same time as everyone else that their game was cancelled. They got it way worse. So, really hope everyone is doing well over there. But, we as PlayStation 5 buyers, it's hurting us. It's hurting our. We could have had a cool Bluepoint. I thought they were doing a single player game, like a single player action adventure, 10 to 15 hours game. I thought, okay, they started after Demon's Souls, so it would be in development for 4 years now. We're likely gonna see it released this year. We could have had the Bend game if they were doing a single player game next year as well. But now, we won't see those studios for another 5 years. If we ever see them launch another game. Because Sony says, oh, we're not gonna hurt them, but it's not looking good. So, of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe for more. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you got any thoughts, let me know. AC still on track for March. I'm putting that now in the chat, the video choice. Would be cool to have that, but it's a long one. It's a long one, you know. Lots to say. Had lots to say about that. Switch 2 will likely not affect PlayStation at all. I don't think so either. It will only help them, I think. Because Lego Horizon can be bought by more people, you know? If you know what I mean. That's why I hope Switch 2 hits more big, gives Sony pressure to release more. I don't think that's how it's going to work. Yeah, Wolverine in development hell. Yeah, Bash Video Game Editor is not great. With, of course, the director leaving for the initiative. If the Switch 2 has backwards FPS boost and plays Zelda Tears of the Kingdom at 60 FPS, it will be perfect, yeah. That would be perfect. God of War. And Days Gone game cancelled. Bleep, bloop, bleep. Yeah, Monarchist, AC is still on track for March. No more moves no, seems like it. I think the number of games will be pretty much the same as the end of PS4. The problem is that this generation was meant to take the next step and bring even more games, which it will fail to do. So basically Sony remains what they were by 2020, fully thanks to the live service push. That's a great point, Remote Tenolo, yeah. Yeah, when I said it, I was like, is that true? It kind of feels like it though. If you count only PS5 exclusives, I think I should have been more clear, because God of War, Horizon were all on PS4 as well. If you look at the PS5 exclusives, we have Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, Spider-Man 2. If you count the big ones, and Astrobot 4. I mean, I can name way more PS4 exclusives, so. KK Barnica, did you play Age of Shadows early? Yeah, we talked about it already. Talked about it a bit already. Will Shadows be PS5 Pro enhanced? The Dog Hamster, they already confirmed that it will be. Yes. Upgraded Cyberpunk and Witcher 3 are enough for me on PS5, but I bought my PS5 for $400. That's a nice deal. It actually went more expensive, which is still kind of crazy to talk about. It's 6 p.m, so 3 days left exactly. Yes, Arctic. Yeah, that's true. There will be a fun stream. Will be a fun stream. I'll celebrate this fire. Give me more of that. Dan Woods, that's true. Like they should totally like look more at those things. They should look more at those types of deals if they are not making the games themselves. Like that is kind of the thing though. It's not hurting them big time in terms of like, it's not hurting them in terms of sales. Although maybe if they had more games out, that would be like better. I do think it's hurting them in mindshare though. I do think there are the PlayStation fans are less happy now than they were on PS4. So I think that is in terms of like the exclusive output. Is the Assassin's cast still on for Wednesday, Dirty Dan? Not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday we will be there every week again. Why not this Wednesday? 2 reasons. One, if we were going to do a podcast, like you already see it in right now, and I'm not like saying that that's wrong or anything, I get it, but people are constantly asking like, how was it? What can you tell about Shadows, and how did it play, blah, blah. I cannot say anything. So if we would do an Assassin's Creed cast with Frankie Boy, we would be like, yo, let's look at the exploration article, and we could talk about that. But yeah, we want to talk about our experience with the game, so that will be next week on Wednesday. And the other reason is I'm not home Wednesday evening because I'll be going to Paris to stream the game for you the day after. So on Thursday, January 23rd, if you're joining later, here's the news. I'll be, as one of the only people in the world, able to stream Assassin's Creed Shadows live from the Ubisoft office, probably. And it will be exciting. Will be insane. I can't wait. You're right. Think of getting a Steam Deck 2 instead of a PS6 right now. That is crazy, Dan Woods. Although, like, PS6 is still far, though. 4 years. So hype for Thursday. Me too. Is Luke also going to Paris for Shadows? Nope. I'm not sure why they aren't doing a US event, but I don't think they are. Cool, Sailor. We'll see you there. But I already said to Luke, if he wants to like look at the stream on his stream, like on Friday or something, he can. So that would be totally what he can do. Bash Video Editor, what do you think the next AAA release will be for Ubisoft? After Shadows? I think it's gonna be not a lot. I think Ghost Recon is getting delayed maybe to really like put in the learnings from Outlaws and Shadows. Because for Shadows, it seems like so far, looking at the blog post and overall how high people are, it's really going up. So I think they are looking at that and being like, yo, maybe we should like spend more time on Ghost Recon to get that to that level as well. And yeah, make sure that we're not making the same mistakes. Of course, it's not launching with a season pass. It's gonna be Steam day one, like all those things they've already announced. But there are more learnings from Outlaws, like really, and they said it as well, like going more gameplay first. They really they should focus on making a fun game that is like exciting to look at. That you're looking at it and you're like, I want to play this. And they've been doing that for Shadows ever since the delay, where they were like, okay, let's not talk, let's show the gameplay, right? And they've been doing that, and that's been exciting. So I think, like you say, Dan Woods, I think Black Flag might be the remake, might be the first AAA game they launch after Shadows, which is interesting, but that's kind of... They said recently during the investor call that they want to launch a new Assassin's Creed paid thing every year Every financial year, that is. So that is from April 2025 until March 2026. There will be a paid Assassin's Creed product, and we know it's Black Flag, the remake. Because the other thing that it could be is Invictus, the multiplayer game, but that is probably free to play if I had to guess. I hopefully bet with Shadow's success, Jade will get a console port. Maybe, I hope so too. I think that would be very smart looking at how good Black Myth Wukong did as well. Because, yeah, people were excited because it was set in China. Like, it sold so many copies in China. Like, I would not mind if they went back to the drawing board for that game and were like, why are we trying to make this a free-to-play mobile game? Why are we not just making this a fully fledged console PC RPG? Obviously, it's way easier said than done. They would have to change a lot of things. But I think that would be maybe smarter because they see with Black Myth Wukong that those like people in China, they will show up if they are like, wow, this looks insane. And if you can sell this game maybe for less because it won't have the same quality as the Shadows in terms of graphics, if they can sell it for like $40 and it's just a $40 pay and you got it, and there are not these like gacha elements in the game anymore, but they might do like post-launch stuff that we saw in the previous RPG games that might be in Shadows as well. Maybe I'm not saying that that's gonna happen, but I think that might be a easier way to get the money back from that game and make a profit than going the let's go mobile game route and hope it catches on and hope that we get the 100 million plus that we spent on this game back. Damn, so next year, I think Black Flag is November this year. Like, I think Ubisoft can launch that around GTA 6 if they want to launch it around GTA 6. Like, if GTA 6 is still this year, I think a Black Flag remake launching that around that is a safe bet. That is actually, like, that won't, if that, like, I think they can put that out and people still know what they are getting, right? They don't have to convince a lot of people to get that, I think. But yeah, a Ghost Recon game, that will be a hard sell, especially if Battlefield comes out this year. If Call of Duty, of course, will release. You got a GTA. Ghost Recon need a March spot or something. Any news on Dune Awakening? No, nothing. Off topic, but have you heard anything about the Lies of P DLC in the near future? They've been so quiet. I know, Joel, but I don't know. They have said that it's coming this year, right? Don't mean to ask 2 questions often, but since it's the end of the stream, thought asking 2 questions I had. Sure, Blazing Flame, you can better just type the questions immediately, and it's not the end of the stream yet. Don't worry about it. We still got some time. I think GTA 6 is 2026. I think so too, Ahmed. I think so too. Everyone is avoiding GTA 6. Yeah, it will be a weird year. We will have like Summer Game Fest with games launching 2025. And normally you get like a release date, right? Around Gamescom or Summer Game Fest. This time they will not. Until like Rockstar says, okay, it's coming out in 2026. Douglas, can you give us a 1 to 10 rate on how good AC Shadows is in your first playthrough? Again, I cannot. 3 more days. Let's move on because otherwise I get way more of these questions. But I want to actually talk about something else. I'm going to give you a choice. And you can vote or let me know what topic you would like me to discuss. So, do you want a state of play video talking about the rumor for the state of play and what we can expect during that state of play? Or do you want a video or like a topic where I talk about the next Assassin's Creed RPG that is already in development? So type state of play or Assassin's Creed RPG in the chat. Shadows hype for sure. Robo Wizzo and Ahmed are saying state of play. We have Remote Nolo. State of Play. I will, of course, do both topics, but I will then do the order differently. Skata, JorRaptor, can you smuggle me into the Paris studio event? Okay, on YouTube it's more the AC RPG. Okay, we got more people. Okay, it's I picked great topics because we're balanced. We're balanced on what we want. I think the Assassin's Creed topic, we just did a Sony topic, so let's do the Assassin's Creed topic and then go over the State of Play and what we can expect. And then maybe you can already think about the things that you hope to see during a potential State of Play from a reliable leaker that should be coming in February. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed first, shall we? Okay, there we go. A new Assassin's Creed RPG is already in development even before Shadows has been released. So we got Tom Henderson, who of course has a great track record, has sources inside Ubisoft saying next AC remake is codenamed Stardust, and another RPG AC is being developed. I would be shocked. I mean, we know about the Black Flag remake, so it's not that, but I would be shocked if this AC remake codenamed Stardust is not the AC1 remake. We got the 20th anniversary coming in 2027. That would be the perfect time, right? And give that way more, like, that needs to be a proper remake. I want to focus on the RPG, though. If we go to the actual article, again, a link to it will also be in the video description if you want to read it yourself. So, Division 3, the Rayman remake, another Assassin's Creed remake codenamed Stardust, another flagship Assassin's Creed RPG. Flagship is important here because that means another, like, Shadows, Valhalla, Origins, Odyssey style game, and Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is now progressing well, are further out. So they are not coming out before 2026, which is not a surprise. Okay, there were people, like this another article from Insider Gaming, Ubisoft currently has 11 Assassin's Creed games planned. To be fair, that's a lot. Also, to be fair, Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed are the only things that make money for them right now. Like, make good money. Maybe For Honor is making a profit. Just Dance. I'm talking good money. So, one of the... Though this is 11 games, but the RPG was not mentioned here. If we quickly go through it, Mirage, of course, released. VR, that also released. Jade, where is that? Expected 2023. Well, that obviously did not happen. Assassin's Creed Red, well, yeah, that was Shadows. Hexe, we already know that's announced. That's coming end of 2026 likely. Codename Invictus, the multiplayer game, seems to be like Fall Guys inspired. Codename Nebula. People were like, this must be it then, right? Let's go on because we got Raid, a multiplayer game. No, that's not it. Not another multiplayer game is also not it. Assassin's Creed Nexus 2 being discussed internally, but it's not happening because Nexus 1 did not sell very well. And the Black Flag remake that we know is coming. So, that only leaves Nebula as a single player game that we kind of already knew about. And if you don't know, this is the game made by the Ubisoft Sofia, known for co-developing Assassin's Creed 3, Liberations, Assassin's Creed Rogue. They also did the Curse of the Pharaohs DLC and the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC. They have pitched the project Nebula, an Assassin's Creed title that will have 3 different settings: India, Aztec Empire, and the Mediterranean. So, that is what they are working on. Again, they did Dawn of Ragnarok, which was like a very RPG-heavy DLC, and they also did Curse of the Pharaohs for Origins, of course another RPG DLC. So, they are well known. They've also worked on like zones for certain games, for these RPG games. So, they know how to make the RPG Assassin's Creed games. So, there is totally a chance that Nebula is an RPG. But this might be like a smaller game. Because I, of course, as a true journalist... Okay, I'm not really a journalist anymore. I did do a journalism degree, but I would not call myself like a journalist anymore. Although there are tasks, journalism tasks that I'm doing. But yeah, I asked Tom Henderson. Great reporting as always. Can you elaborate on the another flagship Assassin's Creed RPG? Do you know if this Nebula from Ubisoft Sofia, or is this a different project entirely? Well, the man himself responded, really appreciate that. Tom Henderson said, it's either a different project entirely, or it has been renamed. Tells me that it might be a different project entirely. What is interesting, though, about this situation is that then something has changed. Something inside Ubisoft has changed. Because they, when during the Assassin's Creed showcase, remember that? It was 2022, Valhalla's post-launch was over, and they were announcing many games. Mirage, boom, cinematic trailer coming out next year. Assassin's Creed Red, boom. Assassin's Creed Hexe, boom, they announced that. Jade, they announced that as well. Lots of things, pretty cool. And then they also released a ton of information. And what they said is that they are basically moving from period 1, which were the older games, ending with Syndicate, to period 2, which was Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, Mirage. And now they're in period 3. And in period 3, they want to, instead of, like, of course, period 2 mostly had the RPG type games. Period 1, the old school, more stealth, action, adventure type games. In period 3, they want to do everything. They want to make sure that all the different Assassin's Creed fans that are out there have something to play, and also create even more new Assassin's Creed fans by creating a different type of experience with Hexe. That's going to be a different type of game. So here, these creative tracks within Assassin's Creed come as the franchise is being stewarded by 2 separate studios. Ubisoft Quebec, that's doing Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Ubisoft Montreal, that is doing Hexe. The team behind Red, Ubisoft Quebec, so Shadows, will spearhead the RPG track and make sure it evolves and improves over time, while the team behind Hexe, Ubisoft Montreal, will focus on the track that feels fresh and different. This way, Assassin's Creed can focus on one type of game at a time, meaning that if Quebec wants to develop another Assassin's Creed RPG in the future, they will be able to implement all the lessons and feedback they learned from Red. I think there are valuable benefits to building games that are very different from one another in our 2 studios, because it helps us collaborate as we're not building RPGs on top of each other, says Cote. Marc-Alexis Cote, of course, the lead producer, everything, the mastermind now behind the Assassin's Creed franchise. So each studio has a vision for the game it wants to implement, and collaborates on all the core technology that is necessary to make those 2 games successful. Also here, Red is projected to be an epic with years of post-launch support, similar to the recent Assassin's Creed games. It is projected to reach the lengthening playing times of Odyssey and Valhalla that have thrilled some players but fatigued others. What they're saying, we're not coming out with another 150-hour game right after Red. Basically confirming, yo, Shadows, gonna be massive. It's gonna be 150 hours easily. Those games can live concurrent, like Cote said on Hexa's release. Those games can live concurrently. It's because they will approach game design, they will approach the structure very differently. Basically confirming with this as well that, yo, when Hexe comes out, which probably the end of 2026, Shadows will still get content and support because, hey, they can live alongside each other. Cote told Axios that the Infinity approach would allow some studios to work on smaller projects, and floated the idea of works led by Ubisoft Chengdu, Sofia, and Singapore studios. So Chengdu seems to be doing, if we go back here, the Raid game, right? Yeah, here, Raid. Here, Ubisoft Chengdu has pitched Project Raid, a free-to-play 4-player co-op game. So yeah, they are doing that. Okay. Then we have Singapore that is doing the AC4 Black Flag remake. And then we have Sofia that's doing Nebula. But floated the ideas of works led by some studios to work on smaller projects. So Nebula is seemingly a smaller project. While again, Tom is saying, yo, it's gonna be a flagship Assassin's Creed RPG. Which tells me that, because I think this comment is pretty interesting as well. If we like look at it here, let's see Whoa, that's a long time ago. Drelkak, thanks for your Prime sub. A long time ago since I heard that Odyssey level up, which is nice. Let's see where I can find it. For oh. Do 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 do. Well. It makes sense to focus on the things that actually make them money, says Dead Linus. I always thought it was strange how they said that after Age of Shadows they are switching away from the RPG formula. All 3 RPG ACs were tremendously successful, and while Shadows has a lot of noise around it, I'm sure it's still going to sell incredibly well. I agree, and you really have to think about it. So, if the plan was to have Ubisoft Quebec release Shadows, support it, and then start working on another Assassin's Creed RPG, when is that gonna come out? Because for Shadows, they're already taking 4 years, and they're now, of course, taking even more, because after Immortals, so 2020, end of 2020, they started working on Shadows. So let's say they had 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. So 4 years and a bit more because of the delay. If they want to do another RPG, and again, Odyssey took 3 years, so let's say that would take 5 years to make. That's gonna mean that that game releases in like 2030. Does Ubisoft really want to go 5 years without another Assassin's Creed RPG? That seems pretty long, because already from Valhalla to this game already felt pretty long. Now again, Shadows will be supported for longer, but still, at one point, people are, they are either in with the Shadows post-launch or are moving away. So, with them already making a new Assassin's Creed RPG right now, I think that it could totally be that inside Ubisoft Quebec, a small team is working on it, and it's far away, it's still the 5 years. But I hope it's like, okay, the RPG games, they are insanely successful. Let's make another one and put it out in 2028. Again, that would be 4 years after Shadows, because again, they plan to launch Shadows in 2024. That would be my ideal situation. So then you have Hexe in 2026, and then you got the next RPG in 2028. Probably not gonna happen though, but we will see. We at least know that one is already in development, and it does not seem to be Nebula. Seems to be a different project. So, curious to hear your take, of course. Let's of course see what they actually will do with Shadows. And still, if it's like still early right now, this new RPG, they can take a lot of learnings from Shadows. So that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, I'm curious. I think it's at least good news that Tom Henderson already heard about a new Assassin's Creed RPG that is coming, instead of having to wait for like 5+ years for another game. While if you think about it, like Origins Odyssey, sure, that was 1 year in between, but both games were insanely popular. I remember when Odyssey was announced, people were like, what? We just had Origins. That's crazy. Looking back on it though, people were like, Odyssey to Valhalla was 2 years in between. People still bought Valhalla like crazy. Valhalla was the most successful game, Odyssey, but after that. So, I think that shows you that, sure, it's good to give... Like, the games have to be in development for long enough. That's the most important part. But I don't think that if you have Shadows now and launch a new RPG in 2028, that people would care. That people, like, at the end of 2028, so like 3.5 years later, I think people would already be down for a new game in a new setting, new RPG. That's me. Let me know what you think, of course. Sign me up for another AC RPG, says Miss Nikita Jones. Nice. Nebula could be fun if it's like Uncharted. Yeah, I mean, I think Sophia just deserves their own game again. Because I really think with Dawn of Ragnarok, they kind of... It felt like... I loved The Curse of the Pharaohs. I think Dawn of Ragnarok had great moments. I don't know if that was really... If they were really like, oh, let's make a Svartalfheim game. I'm not sure if their passion was really behind that. It kind of felt like that. AC Cowboys. RoboWhistle has a good point. If they can support Shadows for longer and had remakes of small games coming until the next RPG game, it can make the wait easier. That is right. That is right. But I still think that, also from a business perspective, the longer you wait with the... because I do think the RPG games have another different type of audience that I'm not sure will be down for the AC1 remake or anything. So I do think you will kind of lose those people if Shadows go... Because I've seen that already. People play the game at launch, and there is this group, this dedicated group at the end, like left over, that will play all the Valhalla DLCs. But it's usually like 10% of the people that bought the game. Many will not play the post-launch content. And yeah, we have not gone 2 years, longer than 2 years. Like Valhalla had a year and a half, but even that final year after the Forgotten Saga, not a lot happened. It kind of died down. So you really see that I'm not sure if going longer than 2 years for Shadows, if that will be a success. Maybe with the rumored co-op mode, they could push it longer, because that's like a separate sort of mode, basically a game inside a game. I could see that. But it's gonna be interesting. But I think it's at least good news that they are already being like, yo, let's not wait for the Shadow team to finish. Let's already make a new RPG and take it from there. 2028 we'll have The Witcher 4 2, probably. 1,600 hours for Valhalla, so 1%. That's an insane amount. I think my PS5 says 1,200, but I don't believe it. Obviously, like, I leave my PS5 on as well while making videos to look at menus and stuff, so it does not really count. But I'm easily 600, 700 hours in Valhalla. Eterp saying 500, that's insane. Badger, with the Animus Hub, they can release small DLCs for 3+ years, for sure. It's gonna be interesting to see how the Animus Hub, if they, like, again, if Nebula is a small RPG, like, still has the mechanics, like the progression systems, then, and have that launch in 2027, then maybe you won't need a big one in 2028. So it's gonna be fascinating, but I think this news overall is just kind of interesting. Okay, time for the state of play. We're gonna state the play. Did anything happen while we're streaming, by the way? I don't think so. Do. I don't think so. No, okay. Metro 4 news in the state of play. Totally think that could happen. Feels like it was 15 years since Valhalla released. Well, COVID does that. COVID does that to us. Great, man. Remote Nolo, you have some great input there. Let's include that in the video as well. Ahmed, you might be right. Okay, let's do it. Whoop. A new state of play is seemingly happening in February, which makes sense for many reasons, and I also want to look at what we can expect during this next Sony live stream. So we first go to Reddit. to Nate the Hate, hinting at a new PlayStation State of Play in February, and it went like this. Do you know anything about the next State of Play, Nate the Hate? How does February sound? And you might be like, who the heck is Nate the Hate? Well, they like convert. They were one of the first people to say, yo, Switch 2 being revealed on this Thursday, this time. Was like, they know stuff. They've also done like a lot of like Xbox news. I'm always curious, like, how do they know? Like, how can you have sources at all the big companies? Nate the Hate does that though. So, good stuff, good stuff. And it makes sense. Like last year, we had a State of Play in January 2024. Let's go over everything that was revealed there. We got Dave the Diver, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I would totally say Death Stranding 2 is being at this show. Like, it was not at the Game Awards. And it's coming 2025. Give a release date. This has to be the State of Play of the release dates. Because if you think about it, beyond March, we really don't know a lot. Dragon's Dogma 2, of course, already out. Foam Star's already cancelled. I'm sure Helldivers 2, if they have an update, will show up. Judas is interesting. It was kind of surprising to see that game last year during the State of Play. Maybe, like, we don't know when that's coming out. 2K already has a lot of 2025 games. I can see them push to 2026. So, yeah, it could show up. It showed up before. Metro, of course, the VR game was announced here. We know there's a new Metro game coming as well. Like an actual single-player game that is not on VR. They've been working on it for such a long time. We heard rumors that it's, like, ready to be... Or, like, people, like the developers can play it from start to finish. It was like at the start of 2023. I think we will see this game this year. So we might see it announced at a upcoming State of Play. Rise of Ronin, of course, already out. Silent Hill. Stellar Blade. I mean, if they do a DLC, we might see that for sure. Until Dawn. There are rumors about an Until Dawn 2 being in the works at Firesprite. They are, of course, doing the movie, which looks kind of wanky. But... there's more Until Dawn seemingly coming. Also the remake, and I do quote-unquote because... Was it a remake? It did have a new ending though, and that teased seemingly a second game. So maybe Until Dawn will show up as well. And of course, at the end of this, they had the Kojima thing. They were like, yo, Kojima is doing a freaking spy game for us. I think it's also interesting to look at the most recent... I think it's also interesting to look at the most recent State of Play that we had in September 2024. And yeah, Ghost of Yotei was, of course, the big one. I would be shocked if Ghost of Yotei is not shown at this State of Play. Also because they said this when they announced it. Our trailer today offers a glimpse into this world, but there's so much more to show. And we will have much more to share in the months ahead, including details about Atsu's journey and the people and animals she will meet along the way. In the months ahead, this was September. October, nothing. November, nothing. December, nothing. We're now in January, nothing. February, 5 months. Feels like they should be ready to tell us something, and it would be cool to see that game again. And 2025 is when it's gonna come out, so you would hope a release a window at least, summer. If it's like coming out at the end of the year, they will of course not say anything because GTA 6 might still come out and you don't want to like announce a date and then GTA is like, yo, we're launching a week earlier. Well, then your game is dead on arrival, even though Ghost of Yotei will of course do well. But it's more about the could do better. Okay, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. I mean, that is of course already out, but it's time for the Horizon Online game to show up somewhere. They could go the Lego Horizon route again, where it's like, because the Lego Horizon is here as well. That was announced at a Summer Game Fest show, but that was also because that game was coming to Switch and PC at launch. Now the Horizon Online game, so this is the Monster Hunter style Horizon game that Guerrilla Games is working on themselves. They also have an MMO, but that's a mobile game from NCSoft. It could totally be that they save that for another Summer Game Fest to get that they want Horizon to grow beyond the PlayStation borders. So, announcing the online game at a State of Play, you get the audience you hopefully already have. To be fair, though, I think the online game has a lot of convincing to do. So it might be smart to, like, have that show up. But yeah, we learned about a QA intern for the online game that was gonna work the first half of 2025 and make sure the game was ready for release. It has been in development for 7 years, the online game. We got the game director on LinkedIn, 7 years. Showed that before in previous videos. So, it's gonna happen this year. We're gonna see it finally, and it could be during this state of play. Let's see what else. Wow. Arc Age Chronicles. I remember that looking really, really good. So maybe we see that again. It's like a MMO action-y. Looks really, really cool. Would be awesome to see that again. I love these urban shots in particular. Wow. So yeah, if they got like a... Is it like 2025? Coming 2025. Wishlist now. I mean, they could totally show up again. Dragon Age already out. We know there's no DLC. Dynasty Warriors already out. Fantasia. Fortnite. I hope it's not showing up. This one is interesting too. Hell is Us. Remember that? Looked very cool. They're gonna focus a lot on... yeah, I think this might be the game without... Because they don't want to like reveal anything in terms... They have no quest log. It's kind of Black Myth Wukong style where they're like, yo, go figure things out yourself. And good luck. And just listen to what people are saying to you. But it might be even less than that. So, it looks awesome. I love the sort of style and the gameplay looks pretty cool too. So, keeping an eye on this one. And again, it might show up again. Hitman. I mean, let's hope. Like, they're, of course, now doing the James Bond game. At one point, they will reveal that. Although that also seems to be more like a Summer Game Fest Game Awards announcement. Again, Metro was here again. So they really seem to have something with Metro, which makes me think that the next game is going to be here. Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, that's, of course, why are they doing it in February? So they can like include big games that are coming out soon. Which includes Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, they have the deal. Monster Hunter shows up every time. So they can, like, one more time be like, hey, and remember, Monster Hunter is coming. Maybe they will announce a collab with Horizon. Like they did in World. So Maya says, well, I joined early. If you mean with early last 20 minutes, then yes, that's true. It is, you could have joined later. Like, that was possible. That was a possibility. But I appreciate you still being here, of course. Thanks for joining and the super chat. Stellar Blade, again, Stellar Blade shows up every time. If they're going to do like a DLC, could be at the State of Play. That would be cool. So yeah, I think it's also like interesting to look at... Here, this is the May State of Play. We can like keep scrolling, but yeah, many of these games, Concord, Dead, and the rest is already released. If we look at the 2025 games, again, I said like Monster Hunter, like I think it's gonna be like mid-February. That's what I would say. So yeah, you got like Monster Hunter that you could talk about, and potentially like Shadows again. That would be cool to see that at the State of Play. I do think it was actually here, right? I think they showed. Or did they not? Oh, Mirage was at the thing. Not Shadows, no. But yeah, I could see it show up here. Adamfall is another one. The first Berserker. So yeah, they could have some other like 2025 games show up at this event. We have Let's see. Where was it? Rumo Tonolo on Twitch says, State of Play needs Ghost of Yote release date and gameplay Wolverine update and Death Stranding 2. But really with Wolverine kind of having that that sort of like developer switch up with the game director leaving. I think that game is far off, sadly. It will need some more time. Hogwarts Legacy DLC is another one. Hogwarts showed up at every PlayStation thing. They even had their own State of Play. Remember that? If they're doing the DLC, it could totally be at this event. Maybe it's and it's out now, or it's out next week. 2-year anniversary. We thank all the wizards and mages or whatever, and I don't think they say mages. Just we thank all the students of Hogwarts for 2 incredible years with amazing support, and we want to do something for you as well. So here is the director's cut with 10 hours of new content. Maybe they do it like that. That would be cool. Maybe they can show Kingdom Hearts 4. Damn. Remember that. That would be insane. Anyone has news on Project Awakening or Lost Soul Aside? Lost Soul Aside was announced for 2025. So it could totally be that they show that too. Which would be cool. Like they had this. Little Nightmares 2 in there too, as well. I mean, if it launches, like, if the State of Play is before Yakuza comes out, they are gonna remind people of that. So, yeah, I think these games could totally show up. Of course, Doom is more the Xbox side. Where Winds Meet, we know that game is out in China right now. And, yeah, it's like an open-world Ghost of Tsushima-like game in China, but free to play. Maybe we get an update on that and the Western release. Borderlands 4 is on here too. I mean, Borderlands 4 could totally show up as well. I do think they said like early 2025 for gameplay. And Elden Ring Night Rain could totally show up too. They will have the beta, the test, the technical test, actually around this time. Around the February window. Split Fiction could show up as like another reminder for people. Because, Split Fiction coming out in a few weeks. And, of course, the new game from Joseph Fares, It Takes Two. Civ 7 will be out by that point, probably. Mafia the Old Country could show up. That's another one of those games that is coming summer. But we don't really know a lot about it. Baby Steps, they will probably show that too. So, I think we went over a lot of possible candidates. Of course, if you got any other possible candidates or things you hope to see, drop it in the comments. And when it's announced, I'll of course do an updated video, and we will be live reacting to the State of Play when it happens, of course, as well. So hope to see you there. Subscribe for more, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye. I think Borderlands is gonna flop. Really? East Blue Drew? I'm still waiting for Little Devil Inside. Damn, I forgot about that game. Phantom Blade Zero gameplay, says Bash Video Editor. That game is far off. I think they're gonna wait with that. They're gonna wait. New trailer for Wolverine, end of the year maybe. I think that if it's like a 2026 game, I could see them like show it at the Game Awards again. How far off do you think the next Gears of War is? Warren, there are people with like Xbox sources saying that it might be out this year, which would be crazy. Fingers crossed for the new Tomb Raider. I mean, you say joke, but it's possible. It is totally possible. Yeah, it seems like the new Tomb Raider is indeed more open world. Skata says, thanks for the stream, JorRaptor. Well, Skata, you know, I want to remind you of that. But this Thursday, insanely excited for it. But I'll be one of the first people and the only people in the world that will be able to stream Assassin's Creed Shadows on the main channel. I will be posting it there. Cannot wait to see you there. It's gonna be insane. And it will be on January 23rd. Basically this time. 3 days from now. I will have a countdown timer up as well. It's gonna be insane. Hope to see you there. Yeah, I'm gonna showcase the game to you. There might be some like fun guests joining the stream as well. And yeah, that is the exciting things happening. And of course, next to that, many videos, streams, or videos, short form videos. A ton of other content for Shadows is dropping around that time. It's the final countdown for sure. No, my battery is almost dead. Well, Skata, well, it is time to end this stream as well, because I got a lot of work to do, as you can imagine, preparing all the videos for you. So yeah, I hope to see you there. And sneak into the pre-order offers and turn it on. I will do my best, RoboWizzo. Looking forward to it. Well, I hope to see everyone there, of course. It will be on the main channel, so it will be exciting. Well, thanks everyone for watching. As always, I love doing these streams. I love talking with you. I'll be back next Monday. Then we will have, then I can say everything I want about Shadows. And before that, I can of course do it on the stream on Thursday. So yeah. Blazing Flame, wait, can you answer my questions? Blazing Flame, what are the questions? Because I only see your messages saying that you have questions, but not what the actual questions are. Let me see. I'm scrolling up, all the way up. Blazing Flame. These are my questions. Okay, I'm almost there. Oh, Oh. Okay, Blazing Flame. Next time, don't remove your comment with the questions. I'm scrolling up, and I see that you have, removed the comment with the questions. So keep them to yourself. Next time I will answer them, and don't remove them. And just immediately ask them. That's how everyone else does it. But I would love to answer them, but you gotta make sure that it's that it makes sense. Great stream, dude. Stay blessed. Well, you too, East Blue Drew, and appreciate you and everyone else watching. So, see you guys on Thursday. Then I will be in a different setting, playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. I still can't believe it.